Vision of Light and Power, which, as you know, I admire very much, uh, because it really details uh, how the machinery of the moneyed interests and corporate power works. In this case, it was a chronicle of how these forces drove you from the mayor's office in Cleveland, and how corrupt the media is. And I want you to talk about what we're fighting against.
When that book, The Division of Light and Power, it took me 40 years to write. Fortunately, I had time to spare. As mayor of Cleveland, even before I became mayor of Cleveland, a central issue was whether or not the city should sell its municipal electric system, then known as Muni Light. I saw what was happening. I saw that the private utility in Cleveland was engaging in a program of subterfuge to undermine the municipal utility so they could get it for pennies on a dollar. I forced an investigation that finally revealed the Atomic Safety and Licensing Commission of the Nuclear Regulatory Commission found out that this utility, then known as Cleveland Electric Illuminating, and now known as First Energy, that this utility was actually creating a lot of the problems on the system that the city owned, including creating blackouts on the system, and then going into neighborhoods where the municipal utility was providing service and saying, "Looks like your utility isn't working very well. Come with us," says the private utility. So there was a dirty tricks campaign against public power, and I stood up to it. As mayor of the city of Cleveland, I refused the demand by the city's biggest bank to sell our municipal electric system to the bank's private utility partner. And the bank, in turn, refused the city's credit on loans I hadn't even taken out. I'm the only mayor in America who ran a city on a cash basis in 1978 and 79. But they put the city into default as a means of trying to get at me politically. All of the media went along with this in Cleveland. It was exposed by people like Robert Scheer, like Alex Coburn, Jim Ridgway, journalists then, Fred Bramfman. But for the most part, the Cleveland media covered up what was going on and was complicit by telling a totally different story than what was happening. They reconstructed the social reality of the city to try to create a case saying why I, as mayor, had to sell a municipal electric system. I knew exactly what was going on. I saw the game for what it was, and I said no. So, and I survived a couple of assassination attempts as well over this. I mean, it was more than $1 billion in assets that were at stake. I held the line. I saved the system. Lost the next election, but years later, the people in Cleveland figured out that I saved them hundreds of millions of dollars on their electric bill by not selling the municipal electric system, which is still serving Cleveland today as Cleveland Public Power.
Well, let's talk about how those forces work to destroy political figures like yourself. And that's what the book, I think, does so brilliantly. It details exactly how that machinery operates. So give us examples, because those forces have not only not gone away, they're probably even more powerful than when you were the mayor of Cleveland.
It's true. Well, for example, big headlines, sell Muni Light or city defaults, okay? News reports, same thing. They created an alternate reality. They reconstructed the social reality of the city, and then it became culturally affirmed. And so I was then, based on the media's accounts, which were driven by their advertisers, in the top advertiser, which was this private utility, CEI, Cleveland Electric Illuminating, and a bank, one of the biggest banks in America, then known as Cleveland Trust. They're out of business now. But what they did, they used the media, radio, TV, and newspapers to put out a single message that I had to sell our municipal electric system in order to save the city. I mean, it was total baloney. I knew it, but the people by and large weren't really sure. And some people were saying, what's with Dennis? What's his fixation with light bulbs, you know? And so there was this long standing plan to take over Cleveland's municipal electric system. And frankly, over 100 municipal electric systems across America were knocked out and off by utility monopolies who basically use cookie cutter strategies that attacked public officials who supported public power, lied to the people about the value of public power, actually interfered with the operations of power systems, and then people just threw up their hands and sold. And then later on, they found their electric rates going up twice, three times. Not in Cleveland, though.